33. Come one, come all to a fantasy pod. It's gonna be awesome and some other stuff. Doo-dee-dee-dee, doo-dee-dee-dee, doo-dee-dee-doo-dee. Some other fantasy stuff. Welcome to the JC Penni podcast, episode number 10 of this season, episode 27 or so in the lifetime of the pod. I got Deal With It Jason Smith. I got Alex Burchak rocking the terrible Steelers hat. We are going to go into the Week 11 matchups from our league. We're going to go in a recap of it, including the first 50 burger that I've ever had, maybe the second in league history other than Pocket Hamster. So that was nice, and I barely won with it, thanks to some sucky Bengals. We'll also talk about the Week 12.
Chris Johnson didn't drop a 50 burger.
He probably did, but like, who remembers 12 years ago?
I do vividly.
Do you remember losing the championship that year? We'll talk about Week 12 predictions, and before we even do that, we'll probably give you guys a little snippet of the matchups for the remainder of the season, because in case you don't know, as I've done a terrible job having the YouTube page up for a second, in case you don't know, the standings in the league are absolutely fucking nuts. The second to ninth place is separated by one game. First to ninth is separated by two, but second place to ninth place all within one game of each other with 3 weeks to go. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, it's been good for Window.
Yeah, Window is so. I mean, the cool part about this is, and the reason this episode is titled, you know, it's the Thanksgiving episode. We got to figure out what to be thankful for, and for the overwhelming majority of the league, you just got to be thankful you control your own playoff destiny, right? Sorry, Brad. But everybody else, it's simple. You go on a 3-game win streak right now, you're in the playoffs, guaranteed. So with all of that said, let's get into it. Let's talk about the recaps, and we'll start, as is tradition on this show, with my matchup from Week 11, and I'm going to let Alex take the lead on this one and open us up. Alex, how did you feel about this? Because, you know, my opponent really put up a good performance, just came up a little bit short.
Yeah. Despite Justin Jefferson putting up, sorry. I had it up.
30,
I accidentally backed out of
33 plus, 33.2.
It still was not enough to overcome Jonathan Taylor's 50 burger.
I mean,
but what? Sorry.
Oh no,
I think I might be delayed or something.
Can you hear me?
Sean,
yeah,
if you're looking at Sean's screen, that's like 15 seconds delayed.
Got it. Okay, no, I'm good. I just exited out of the YouTube.
No worries.
I'm just gonna look right at the Zoom instead.
Yeah, that's probably easier.
Yeah, but anyway, that sucks that Jonathan Taylor scored 5 touchdowns. Well, for me at least, it's good for you. But
I mean, if it's any consolation to you, I did lose a slap bet, and to be fair, like, Jason was there for this slap bet. I took the slap bet not knowing what the score was in my matchup with James, not knowing he already had a 28-point lead on me thanks to the Patriots defense on Thursday Night Football. But I took it like I instant offered it because of how garbage of a team I knew James had. And but for his defense putting up 28 points, he would have lost. But
I know that 33.5 from A-Rod, and
it was just, I got to tell you, watching the Vikings-Packers game was, as someone who had a slap bet with James and was playing Alex, was just miserable because Aaron Rodgers would go and do something, and I would be like, damn, James just got some more points. Then the Vikings get the ball back, and like they can only throw the ball to Justin Jefferson apparently. So Justin Jefferson's going and scoring like a ton of points. It's just like I just can't win, but I did win. Thank you, Jonathan Taylor, who,
And
as a third-round
Yeah.
pick, is MVP worthy.
oh yeah, he's going to be arguably maybe even a first pick next year,
It's gonna be
in
him or
my
Henry.
opinion.
Yeah, it's gonna be him or Henry.
He's been unreal.
Um,
But
Yeah,
then you have people like T Higgins on your team, who I've been saying for like the entire season is hot garbage.
We had, I don't know if we're gonna get into the pot. We had an argument in New York about T Higgins versus Tyler Boyd, and like T Higgins is I'm like unequivocally is the second best Bengal receiver. Like,
But do you want the second best Bengal receiver?
generally, yes. Like he's putting up like 10. Like, okay, so like want is relative, right? Like on my team where I have Josh Allen, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, and once he gets healthy, Kareem Hunt starting, all I need are T Higgins and Jalen Waddle. That's all I need, and I need them to just put up what they always do, which is like 10 points, and I'm fine. The problem is that on days when Joe Burrow struggles, as he did in this game, it's ugly. And they're not. It hasn't happened a lot this year, but it's happened on a rare occasion. And this should have Josh Allen putting up 16 and Joe Burrow putting up less than 10 should have been enough to cripple me, even without T Higgins putting up 2.5. But
well, it doesn't help that Russell Wilson only put up 8.5 points.
that's
so.
absolutely true. Who would have thought Cam Newton would have outscored everybody with Russ,
Oh,
Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow on the field?
I'm hoping that I
He
got.
had himself a game.
I'm hoping I got his only good game.
And well, that's what I'm saying. You're hoping that because you immediately shipped him. In case anyone didn't see the trade news, there was a trade this week between the Hagerstown boys. Alex sent Cam Newton and I believe Chase Edmonds to McMillan for his
David
new acquisition
Montgomery.
of David Montgomery, who's finally healthy. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one shakes out because obviously Montgomery has the most upside, but Newton and Edmonds have both demonstrated, and fairly recently, that they can put up good numbers.
McMillan also locks up the Arizona backfield, which is nice for him.
Yep, but the question is, is it the kind of... I mean, obviously the problem with a two-headed backfield is that the value of both is divided amongst the committee. It's a great backfield to own, but is it Cleveland worthy where you're going to sustain two producers on any given game?
Well, Cleveland doesn't throw the ball at all, so you can't compare the backfields. But Chase Edmonds, when he was healthy, was getting all the receiving work. I think he'll be fine at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And James Conner seems to be their go-to at the goal line. So
Yeah.
get that receiving work and the goal line work all in one. Well, not all in one, all in two. You gotta start two players to get that. But
This has been one of the seasons with the most trades I can remember for us. And just as an aside, by the way, if you're just joining us on the pod, this is a fantasy football podcast, obviously. We're here to answer your questions, so no one's commented in the chat yet. If you are watching, let us know you're there. Comment in the chat, let us know. Ask your questions. Who should I start? Who should I sit? Who should I trade? What free agent? It's Tuesday. This is the time you want to figure out who you're going to add on the waiver wire. We are here to play chess, not checkers. We're here to help you dominate your leagues the way that we dominate ours. And you can tell this is a highly competitive league because of the fact that it's all separated by one fucking game.
Or we're all just really bad.
I don't think it's that, man. I like again, the number of trades that have happened, the number of there have been a lot of high level intellect moves here. But anyway, the thing about this matchup is, out of Alex and I, the last thing I'll just close with on this point. So Zach led the league in scoring. James was second, right? I was third. Jerry was fourth. And then Alex, you were fifth in scoring. So we were both top 5 in scoring. It's always unfortunate to lose in that situation. But, you can't be too upset putting up 128, right? You can't be too upset with... obviously you can be upset with Russ, but aside from that, your team didn't do terribly.
no, I'm not upset. It's just that's how fantasy goes. Sometimes you lose these tough matchups, but
Well, and you're gonna get
I'm
Matt
just
Stafford back on bye. You're
yeah,
gonna get
and Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup back. I mean, your team is gonna be much stronger next week. I like, and we'll go into that matchup in a little bit. So let's move on now to Window and Jerry. Window's horseshoe finally fell out of his ass. And Jerry finally got a much needed, like, this Jerry said going into this game, he needs to win or he's done. He's not making the wild card. He got a much needed win. Jason, what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, Austin Eckler's a man. Tyler Lockett had a decent game considering Russ played horribly. I mean, it's the only one out of that game who actually had anything. Keenan Allen did Keenan Allen things, just a pretty standard possession receiver stuff. Didn't get any help from the quarterbacks this week. Christian McCaffrey put up another 20 without getting a touchdown.
He got a touchdown this week.
Was it a receiving touchdown?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep.
But he does. It is amazing to me that Christian McCaffrey every week is going to put up 15 points at least without touchdowns included.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone outside of the quarterbacks did exactly what needed to. Austin Eckler did 2 to 3 times what he needed to, but I mean, he still beat him by 40. So
yeah.
He got a nice start out of Mark Ingram. That's always awesome. We can pull somebody off.
I've been commenting on his running backs for a while. They did absolutely nothing for him. No.
Window really didn't have a chance in this game. I mean, just from his lineups top to bottom. And you're absolutely right, by the way. Like, this is a matchup that, but for the skill position, like, this is a matchup where Jerry's biggest weakness, which is the quarterback position, absolutely hurt him hard. He had less than, or I guess a little over, slightly over 15 points between his quarterbacks, right? So, like, he didn't draft quarterbacks early. That was always going to be his weakest position. But for Window, on the other hand, who drafted Patrick Mahomes, I believe, second overall.
Yeah, I mean, whenever he drafted, it would have taken Patrick Mahomes first.
Like 7.5 again. Patrick Mahomes, where is his position rank right now? Is he
going
fourth?
Into the bye? Yeah, he hasn't had his bye yet.
He hasn't had his bye. Like, let me get a better statistic here really quick, and I'll look it up while you guys talk about this matchup a little more.
I mean, his season's been solid except for 2 7.5 point games.
I just wanted to see where he's at on points per game, because obviously the bye week's going to inflate that position rank a little bit. And so I'm just curious, if we're looking at all players at the quarterback position in average points per game, where does Patrick Mahomes land? My count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. And
that sounds right.
Yeah. But that's Patrick Mahomes, who went first out of quarterbacks.
So, yeah, I mean, last week, Patrick Mahomes won the week for him. This week, he put up a dud, but I mean, this is the week you would have wanted a dud when you have no chance of winning.
Right.
In the end. So
I get it. I'm just saying, like, Patrick Mahomes, and granted, the disparity is not huge, like, between, like, 1st and 10th, at least not as huge as it used to be. Right now, the average points per game, the difference between Lamar Jackson, who is QB1 on average points per game, and just going down the list, QB10 is Aaron Rodgers. It's less than 4 points. So it's not a huge disparity, but, like, it just sucks to lose that value.
Yeah, I mean, especially since Aaron Rodgers was taken when 5th or 6th round, probably.
Well, and the guys above
maybe
him,
later.
The guys above him on that list, right? You're talking about, it's Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins, and Aaron Rodgers. And Kyler Murray, you got to kind of put an asterisk there because of all the games he's missed due to injury at this point.
Hey, I have 3 of those quarterbacks listed.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you had a healthy Kyler Murray?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So, but big win for Window, big win for Jerry, big loss for Window. And not a lot on Windows bench either, by the way.
No.
Well, all of his handcuffs are no longer viable since they're
Yeah.
everybody's healthy now.
I mean, you've heard us talk about this on previous episodes, like the last couple episodes, about Windows value has a ticking time bomb on it for when those the running backs who are fill-ins turn into backups again.
Yeah.
And I feel like the clock has struck midnight on Windows Cinderella running backs and turned his team into a proverbial pumpkin.
I mean, he's dropped a few of them now, but
still
got Devontae Booker.
Yep. So let's talk about Jason Smith's matchup facing Zach Hall. I will tell you, and I'll let Alex talk about what he likes in this matchup.
He had the highest score of the week, and he got 2.5 points out of Dak.
I just wanted to say, I was watching this game with Jason in New York, as you all know, and it was like a symphony to just listen to the sounds of Jason bitch and moan as Zach continued to mollywop his team.
I don't think I was bitching. I think I was more just crying.
Not in a negative way. I didn't mean bitching like in a negative way. I meant more like you were taking it like a champ, but you just you knew you were getting absolutely dunked on the entire from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. It was just like, hey, anytime a play came on the TV, it was, oh, hey, that guy's on Zach's team. Oh, hey, that guy's on Zach's team.
Yeah. I mean, just up and down, except for Dak. Just, I mean, what more can you ask out of the team?
Yeah, everybody hit. Can you imagine if Dak had gone off? He could have legitimately had a shot at a 200-point game.
Yeah, I mean, if he had,
like, if Dak puts up 30, he's at 180 something. That's just nuts. And to be fair, I'm surprised at some of the performances. Like, the guys on Zach's team who Jerry constantly bitches about when he's on the pod are Myles Gaskin, Mike Evans,
I mean, he was going
Mike
against
Williams.
the Jets.
I get it, but even against the Jets, like, that game wasn't pretty. And Miami has, like, the most frustrating running offense in the world because they just run for 1 to 2 yards every time. Like, Myles Gaskin's only real value, it feels like, is if he's getting a goal line carry or if he's catching passes in a, like, because Miami's trying to come back late. That's it. But
I didn't get to watch much of the early games. I didn't even realize, like, DeAndre Swift put up 21 fucking points.
He had a 60-yard touchdown run.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
I just look up. It's like, oh, another 11 points for Zach. Devontae Adams had a big boy game.
To be fair to you, like, you did get good performances out of Justin Herbert and Joe
The
Mixon.
Titans defense against Houston put up negative points.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that should have been the top streamer last week.
It was. It was the consent. I picked them up like 2 weeks ago for this fucking game.
What was the logic on Dan Arnold?
If you look at he's the number 1 receiver in Jacksonville. The last 3 weeks, 10 targets, 7 targets, 8 targets, with 8 catches, 4 catches, 5 catches.
He's put up decent numbers until this past week.
Yeah.
I mean, he got traded to Jacksonville early in the season, and since then he's their number 1 receiver.
But, like, being the number 1 receiver in Jacksonville is like, it's not a well coveted title. It's like being the best Chell player among us. Like, the best Chell player among us is still getting wrecked in any game they play head to head against anyone online.
I mean, sure, but it's not just like me that like Dan Arnold is a good play. I mean, he was pretty much consensus
waiver wire.
I mean,
yeah. I think you definitely made the right choice to play Dan Arnold over Zach Ertz. I mean, even though Zach Ertz went off, but it's like,
I mean, the logic was
Zach
there.
Ertz, yeah, absolutely.
Zach Ertz last 3 games, 6 points, 4 points, 6 points, 25 points.
He had Colt McCoy thrown to him. So.
Yeah, it was Colt McCoy. Like, I tried out the, hey, Colt McCoy is starting. Let me try Zach Ertz last week. Bit me in the fucking ass last week. So I'm like, I'm not fucking going down that rabbit hole again. And then here we are.
I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference at the end of the day, but it just it is, and
No, it would have. If I had started any receiver over Brandon Cooks and Zach Ertz over Dan Arnold, I win this week.
wow, that actually does suck.
Because I mean, it's 25 points.
Yeah,
So that puts me at 145 plus the extra 16
and
for putting any receiver over Brandon Cooks.
And Zach has no, like, he has no way to beat you at that point.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Zeke also left the game for a while because he got hurt.
I remember that. You were worried about that.
I mean, I was not only worried for this game. Like if the Titans defense doesn't go negative and I like switch a couple things around, I'm also pushing like 180 points this week.
Yeah. I mean, you and Zach, and this is the scary thing about your team and Zach's team, is that you've been in the bottom 5 of the standings for the last 4 to 5 weeks, it feels like, and yet you're in. It feels like I think you're both in the top 5 in total points scored, or if not, you're close. Like it feels like you guys are high scoring teams that just have gotten unlucky standings wise. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm currently 4th in points scored.
While we're talking about
Zach is 2nd.
While we're talking about horseshoes up asses, Daryl has somehow continued to squeak out results despite ravaged by injuries all year long, finally starting to get healthy. And despite putting up, I'm pretty sure, the 7th best score this week, he walks away with a dub.
Over McMillan.
Over McMillan, who is the points leader. Alex put up more than 30 more points than Daryl this week and lost. And Daryl lost Daryl won while Alex lost.
That's why we have the wild card.
Man. And really, the best thing I can say about Daryl's team was Elijah Moore had himself a game, and Trevor Siemian kind of did too. Not to the same extent Elijah Moore did, but
yeah, I mean he got a nice 25 out of each of them, and that's half his points right there.
I'm honestly surprised that Daryl started Elijah Moore. Like, think about this. Would you have started Elijah Moore, and it paid off for him? Like, I'm not questioning the man. He won the game based on this. But let me ask you guys, would you have started Elijah Moore against Miami's secondary, which has Xavier Howard, who's doing Byron Jones, like not a bad secondary, versus if you have Emmanuel Sanders going up against Indy?
I would start Elijah Moore.
Really?
Emmanuel Sanders has been awful lately. He had a couple good games early.
What would have scared me off of Elijah Moore, I would have started Emmanuel Sanders. What would have scared me off of Elijah Moore is Joe Flacco
I would have picked
starting.
Option C, not dropped Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, I guess Elijah Moore really
Brandon
has.
Ayuk.
Elijah Moore really has been going off lately.
I have him in one of my other leagues, and it's a 14-team league. Like I have to start him, and it's been very nice. So
yeah.
He's been absolutely solid lately. No, but did you hear what I said, Sean?
You wouldn't drop Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would have done over either of them. I mean, Elijah Moore paid off, but
yeah, he did.
I was really surprised that Brandon Ayuk dropped. Like you hold on to him all year, and as soon as he's back in the coach's grace, and they're scripting plays to him and getting him involved, you drop him.
Let me ask this, because let's flip now. I mean, Daryl had a couple guys on bye. Kamara was out with an injury. Judy and Noah Fant were on bye. Like, Daryl's got some guys waiting in the wings on his bench that he can plug the holes he has. I don't think.
I mean, Jerry Judy has.
I think he starts Jerry. Like, I think his starting lineup is probably Saquon, Alvin Kamara, CD, Elijah, and then either, depending on matchups, Damian Harris or Jerry Jeudy.
I mean, it's Damian Harris easily.
I see Damian Harris. To me, he's had some weak performances lately, hasn't he?
He got hurt not 2 weeks ago. He got hurt. And then Ramondre Stevenson is kind of coming on a little bit, so he's going to lose a little bit of work, but
Yeah,
he's still the lead back.
And New England loves to run the ball. I mean, he's averaging
true.
Averaged 5 yards a carry last week.
True.
He gets in the end zone. It's a monster game.
So Daryl's got resources available to him. McMillan, we talked about a couple weeks ago the Derrick Henry injury and how it would affect McMillan's team. Let me ask Alex this question. What are your thoughts on McMillan's team moving forward? Because does he have the resources on his bench to make it through?
He doesn't. It's tough because he has a great starting lineup, and then after that, like, I'm not super impressed, especially with Derrick Henry gone. Like, I told him the other day, we were talking, I was like, I'm really not that afraid of your team anymore with Derrick Henry gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I graded him pretty low. I mean, Derek Carr has been nothing but downhill lately as well. He started off well, but last few games, 19-10, 18-8.
You have to give him a little bit of credit now. He's starting to make moves to try to better his team. At least he's upgrading his quarterback for him.
Kelsey and Gronk.
Well, one of the people he made moves for, Adrian Peterson, got cut today. So
did he really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I hadn't heard that. That's crazy.
I mean, the negatives, we can't overlook the -7 from the Bills deep, who has been just dominant all season, just absolutely pooping in their big boy pants
against Indy. But for that, McMillan wins.
And then
I was about to say, all he had to do is score 0.
He's got that.
Wins.
He's got that defense against New Orleans, New England, Tampa. Carolina's fine. Another one at New England, but he does get Atlanta if he makes it to the championship game.
Wow, he gets Bills D at Atlanta for the championship if he makes it there.
I am worried about him this week though, because he's going to still be without Cooper. James Conner's on a bye. He no longer has David Montgomery.
We'll get there. We'll get there, Alex.
We'll get there too.
Okay.
But, we also want to buy Chase Edmonds, who we just traded for, and
he's still hurt.
So. Kelsey too. Okay, wow. So let's go to our final matchup of the week, and then we'll get to our matchup calendar and then some predictions. I'm sorry, Brad.
It started off where it was just bad luck, and like I almost feel like Brad has like given up. Like
he's still. I mean, not entirely, right? Like
no, not entirely, but it's like
I get it. Like, so a couple things. Like
it's terrible that Lamar Jackson just all of a sudden like he has the flu, so it's like he can't that sucks so bad.
Yeah,
I feel terrible.
On paper, his lineup isn't bad. Like
no,
AJ Dillon as the handcuff to Aaron Jones. AJ Dillon has been like a very serviceable replacement for Aaron Jones. Michael Carter has been solid lately, and
he's hurt now.
Well, but you know who isn't hurt now? That's going to be coming back in the rotation. Who's apparently the favorite guy in their offense? CEH.
I mean, they drafted him like with the first round pick. Like
I get they like him, but they haven't used him as heavily as they did last Sunday, like yesterday or 2 days ago, I guess.
I mean, he had 12 carries before that, 14, 13, 17, 14, got hurt and had 7. So like you say, they didn't use him heavily, but they did.
When were how many times was he targeted? I guess it's only twice. Wow, I felt like they used him a lot more. Maybe it's just because I have Damian Williams.
I think it's just a confirmation bias.
Probably.
I feel like Kansas City is figuring out that they can't just throw it deep to Tyreek Hill all the time.
You know, I really wish they would just do that though. Like
Says the guy who has Tyreek Hill.
I just watched the Chiefs game. I'm just like, throw it to Reek every play.
My point was just that, like, if you look at his lineup top to bottom at the skill positions, like AJ Dillon / Aaron Jones, CEH filling in for Michael Carter, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Jamar Chase, just those 5. That's solid. Not to mention Ramondre Stevenson filling in right now. Like, he's got solid skill position players. You look at his quarterbacks this past week. His quarterbacks put up less than 12, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, less than 13. They put up 12, like essentially 12 on the dot. That sucks.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, Lamar Jackson, if he's in, offsets some of that pain.
I mean, it maybe gets him to 100.
Yeah. But that's not enough to win week to week. I just feel bad for Brad because at this point, he's the only person who I think is eliminated.
I mean, DK Metcalf has been suffering big from Russ.
Even if Brad wins out, he's 6-8. And I don't think there's a way that I could be wrong, but I don't think he's getting the wild card. I don't think he's in a position where he's going to be at the top 5 in the standings. I just think he's out.
He's gonna need a lot to happen.
He's going to need a miracle.
But if you recall, after the draft, Brad was like, when me and you were talking, he was one of our favorite teams after the draft.
Yeah.
I know. As I do most weeks, I message some people and try and get some trade talks going. I messaged Brad a couple weeks ago and I was like, hey, like, you want to make a move? Like, what do you think about this for this? And he said, no, I'm not making any more moves at the moment.
I just love how many trade, like, you are the deal maker.
Oh, it's exciting.
You are the stockbroker of the league.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but like,
I enjoy trading.
I don't know. I'm like, how can I make my team better?
Buy Joe Mixon. Sell Cooper Kupp.
I should have bought fucking Debo Samuel.
Yeah, you should have.
I was willing to sell at that point too.
You're not now.
No, I didn't think it was sustainable, and it just kept happening. I'm like, all right, this is cool.
I'm in another league, and I'm just like, I'm in first in that league, just mollywopping everyone every week.
So to wrap up with the recaps, James, second highest scorer this week, won the slap bet. Congratulations, Dickface. And did it basically on the backs of Dalvin, Aaron Rodgers, the Patriots D, and then Deontay closing the door.
Yeah. I mean,
I just want to say one more thing really quick about James's team. I feel about James's team the way that Jerry feels about Zach's team. I just hate it.
I don't love James's team.
No, it's bad. Okay, not this bad. Aaron Rodgers solid, Dalvin Cook solid. Jeff Wilson was just kind of like a fill-in for an injured Eli Mitchell. Hasn't done anything, although he would have had the easiest touchdown in the world. He was standing still wide open in the end zone with no one in 10 yards of him, and Jimmy Garoppolo just fucking threw it into the ground.
Because he's great.
AJ Brown has been playing poorly / hurt. The whole Titans haven't been good. Rashad Bateman's been fine, but, untested still. I mean, Mandrews is solid. Deontay Johnson, I would love to have Deontay Johnson. I tried to get him multiple times. Tannehill just has been shit in the bed lately. Patriots defense has been solid, but they play Tennessee next week, which they could do really well. But then they have Buffalo, bye, Indy, Buffalo. They do get Jacksonville in the championships. They have some tough games ahead.
And, well, here's the other thing, too, about James's team. One of the few teams in the league who is not rostering 3 QBs.
I mean, you don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't? But
I mean,
don't you wanna?
But I mean, who would you pick up right now?
You got to kind of look at it like this is kind of how I look at it. When you have 2 quarterbacks who've already passed their buys and you need other skill position players and you just want to take shots at people, I'd much rather roster a wide receiver or running back or something, like, just so I can take a shot
They're
at
not
one
running
other person.
quarterbacks, so your chance of them getting hurt is pretty low. So like, I get it.
Tannehill's fairly mobile. They do a lot of play action with Tannehill, and Aaron Rodgers has had the COVID issue before.
He's not a runner.
I'm not saying he's a runner, but he is more mobile than the average quarterback.
No, what I'm saying is he doesn't take runs and have like a running quarterback that has a higher chance of injuring themselves.
I understand your point. I'm saying that even non-mobile, like, okay,
I don't understand your point. Is what I'm saying.
I guess my point is that I understand that a mobile quarterback such as a Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray has a higher chance of injury just because of the frequency with which they're getting hit.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
I understand that. I'm saying that, to me, having Aaron Rodgers, even when Aaron Rodgers has been completely healthy this year, he was out for a week or two with COVID, and then you have to try to scramble to add Jordan Love. And to be fair, I'm saying this on the abstract, not knowing what his budget situation is. If I recall right, I think he's one of the better teams in the league on budgets.
Yeah, I think he is pretty high.
I'll look it up just to be sure. Yeah, he's at 643. But like, let's say, let's just like hypothetical. Aaron Rodgers tests positive for COVID, despite being immunized. Well, guess what? Now he's out. You need to scramble to get Jordan Love if you got a good matchup there. Like, do you really want to be scrambling off the waiver wire? And I'm not saying you add Jordan Love, like, if you're him right now, but I'm saying, like, do you really want to be scrambling off the waiver wire? I tend to add quarterbacks.
But everyone else already has 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So he's not missing out.
Not if
on a quarterback.
Again, anything can happen. If you have Kyler Murray, who is still dealing with an injury issue, if Lamar Jackson has to poop again, like, there are a lot of different areas where a quarterback can just be out for a given week.
Okay. I mean, you have Jonathan Taylor and you haven't picked up his handcuff. What if he gets hurt?
I understand your point. I'm just saying, like,
he's saying I think there's better odds of picking up one of these players and them striking success rather than a quarterback going down, and a situation in which I'm not able to pick up a viable starting quarterback.
I get it. I do understand the logic.
I mean, I obviously want 3 quarterbacks because anything can happen, and I'd rather have that safety net.
Well, and I think the overwhelming majority of the league follows that approach. Like, Alex, you have 3 quarterbacks too, right?
I do. Well, I don't right now. I did last week. I'm going to roll 2 quarterbacks the rest of the way.
Wow. Okay, maybe I'm wrong then.
Stafford and Russ are both off their buys. Like, I don't feel the need to roster another quarterback, and if I need one, I need one. Like, I'm trying to put all my eggs in one basket here and win a championship. Like, I don't.
It is kind of to that point now, especially with this being the last bye week, I believe. Like, it's kind of, or I think, is it? No, it's not this week. It's like this week and next week, maybe. I don't remember.
What?
I think this is the last set of buys, unless.
No, the buys go to week 14.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Okay.
Carolina and somebody else has Indianapolis has a week 14 bye.
So just to be clear, like, this is another reason, just as an aside, why, like, we were talking about having a 13-game regular season at the beginning of the season. I got a lot of shit for, like, saying we should just go with the ESPN defaults of a 14-game regular season. Can you imagine?
I was on your side for that, by the way.
Thank you. Can you imagine if we had buys and, like, or we had playoffs and one of your players was on bye, like the shit I'd get?
Yeah, no, I'm glad we ended up going this route because I would have lost my shit if I had a player on bye first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Anyway, that's an aside. Let's really quick before we go into predictions. I just want to show everybody at home. These are the matchups for weeks 12 through 14. So Window will play Sean, Daryl, and James. McMillan gets James, Zach, and Alex. Alex will get to face Jason Smith, Brad, and then McMillan. So 2 Jasons in 3 weeks. I get Window. Right? Hot Jason on Jason action. I get Window, Jason Smith, and Daryl. James is going to be playing McMillan, Jerry, and Window. Daryl gets Jerry, Window, and myself. Zach gets Brad, McMillan, and Jerry. Jason Smith, you'll get Alex, myself, and then Brad. So, wow, all three of us play each other, right? This in the next.
Mhm. Yep, I play both of you guys.
Yeah.
Wait,
I mean, I just
no,
I
I
just
don't play
played
Alex.
Sean.
I'm sorry, I don't play
Yeah.
Alex.
I mean,
just played.
we just played each other.
Right. So, I'll play, or you'll play both of us in the remaining 2 weeks, Jason, or 2 of the remaining 3 weeks.
So excited for it.
That's crazy. Jerry gets Daryl, James, and Zach, and Brad gets Zach, Alex, and Jason Smith.
I think Brad has the hardest schedule to end the season.
Brad doesn't get to play himself. He doesn't get his Brad bye week.
His luck just continues to fall.
It's nice for Zach, Alex. It's nice for to both of you get your Brad bye. I would have been the next one to play him, but it would have been week 15.
Sucks to suck, dude.
Yeah, no shit. So that said, let's go into predictions. And I mean, I guess I could have just left. I could have left that window up, but I'll go ahead and into the matchup predictions. So the first matchup of the week, again, as is tradition, we always start with my own matchup because I just go left to right. It's window.
Hey, that's mine too.
Window versus myself.
Wait. Now I'm looking at week 13. I'm an idiot.
Kareem Hunt I don't know if there's any timeline for when Kareem Hunt is coming back.
Yeah, I don't know.
Coach, oh wait, here we go. Yesterday, Coach Kevin Stefanski said Monday he's hopeful that Hunt will be available for Sunday's game against the Ravens.
Oh.
So I might finally get Kareem Hunt on the field.
You gonna start that chunt?
That team chunt all the way. No, I mean, even if Kareem Hunt doesn't start this week, Cleveland has their bye week 13, and then I'll get him. I'll basically probably be starting both Cleveland running backs from then onward. But if Hunt plays, I may start him. It's going to be some combination of 2 of the 3 of either him, Higgins, or Mooney. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll let you guys both predict this matchup since it's my own, and I'll go to the box score while I do.
All right. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Sean in this matchup. Sorry, window, but with Mahomes out, I don't know. I just like Sean's lineup better, like just overall. Nick Chubb and Jonathan Taylor versus Antonio Gibson and James Robinson. I mean, obviously you're going to take the Chubb-Taylor side. His receivers, I feel, are just slightly better, but not.
No, they're a lot better.
They're significantly better, yeah.
Significantly
better. Diggs, Moore, and Pittman are much better overall than Higgins.
I don't think DJ Moore is that much better than Jalen Waddle, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
Sure, but that's the closest comparison.
That's the closest matchup.
Yeah. I mean,
so then you got Windows worse is still better than Sean's best. So
yeah.
But I mean, winning receivers doesn't matter if you're losing quarterbacks, you're losing running backs, you're losing your tight ends. Like,
I like Sean's. Well, obviously Sean's quarterbacks are better.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Sean has better quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He has better running backs. He's got a better tight end. So
yeah.
Windows got the better receivers, but that's not enough. I'm going Sean.
What's interesting here, one of the actually funny things about this matchup is some of the stuff is going to be offset, right? There's going to be some offset between, at least not overall, but like
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Josh Allen is going to be putting up points for me, but when he's throwing to Diggs or Dawson Knox, his leading wide receiver and leading tight end, it's going to go to Window. Flip it, and Tua for Window is going to be obviously putting up points, but when he's throwing to his top 2 targets in Waddle and Gesicki, they're going to me. So it's kind of going to and it is very symmetrical in that way that it's going to offset. So the question really is, I think, if those positions are essentially going to wash out, what would you rather have out of the following players? For Window, Tyrod, Antonio Gibson, James Robinson, DJ Moore and Michael Pittman, or for myself, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, T. Higgins, Darnell Mooney, and Joe Burrow. And just honestly, I'd rather have my lineup in that situation, so I go me.
It's really just Nick Chubb and Jonathan Taylor that do it for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. So we all predict me, which means that my 5, I think I'm on a 5-game win streak. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, hold on 1 second though. JT and Nick Chubb both have pretty tough matchups. I didn't even. You got Jonathan Taylor going up against Tampa Bay and Nick Chubb going up against Baltimore. I mean, they're still going to be good, but I'm just saying, don't expect a 50 burger from Jonathan Taylor this week.
Jonathan Taylor just did that against the Bills,
who are a fantastic run defense. I'm not worried about matchups when it comes to these two running backs. I will say that I'm on a 4-game win streak.
Is Quentin Nelson healthy?
I think so.
I don't know. I think he got hurt last game.
He always has been hurt this season. But I'm on a 4-game win streak. I'm due for a loss, but I have to predict myself right now. I have to just predict me.
Hey, I predicted you several weeks in a row, and I've been right. So
you have been right. I've been right now. I'm the hottest team in the league, so I'm jinxing as much as possible, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to playing you right now.
I would have picked myself against you last week.
How'd that work
Man,
out for you?
that still pisses me off.
Well, now, here's the good part, guys. Now we get to predict your matchup. It's Alex versus Jason Smith, and I guess it's only fair if
I'm taking Alex.
Oh, you dick.
I'm going to take Jason.
You guys are both not trying to jinx it. I love it.
My bench players are Kyler Murray, Tyreek Hill, and Zach Ertz. Your bench players are no one.
That's true, Sandy.
Yeah, that is true. But I don't know. It literally is a jinx thing. I'm not picking myself just because I'm not jinxing.
All right, boys. Well, then I'll be the one to make a prediction since I don't have a dog in this fight. No, for the reasons that the main reason that Jason just mentioned, like he has Kyler and Reek on bye. He was always
my top 2 picks, so
he was always gonna be fighting an uphill battle this week. I do think there's probably one of the interesting things here is, I would be curious because you've been tradeaholic. I don't know if you have another move left in you, but maybe some combination of Leonard Fournette and Brandon Cooks, or Leonard Fournette and Terry McLaurin for a different wide receiver, just to kind of give you a little lift. Because right now your weakest position in my view is Brandon Cooks. And it's a good matchup against a weak New York secondary, but
he went up against the worst ranked fantasy defense wide receivers last week. It didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
It was also pouring rain.
It was pouring rain.
But
unfortunate.
Overall, I do think between your running backs are going to be solid, Jason, but Alex also has Alex has Najee and Dave Montgomery, and to offset Cordell Patterson, he has Deebo Samuel.
I would say our running backs are a wash. Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson are better than my wide receivers, and his flex is Deebo fucking Samuel.
Yeah,
it's not going to be close.
He dominates the wide receiver position, and I don't think that Sherbert and Cousins are going to be enough to offset that when Alex has Russ and Matt Stafford. I gotta go, Alex.
I know Russ. I mean, Russ.
Hopefully, hopefully he'll be okay. But he's
looked bad the last couple weeks.
That's why I was nervous getting rid of Cam Newton, because I was like, shit, what if Russell Wilson's just awful for the rest of the year? But
yeah.
You can't win a championship by being scared. So
got to make your moves.
Yep. Everyone else is afraid. Alex isn't.
I made a trade.
You made a stupid trade.
I know.
I'm not saying it was stupid. I was just so inconsequential.
I'm in the market for wide receivers, but I don't have enough depth of assets to make trades.
That was the position I was in last year.
No, I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade Taylor, Chubb, and Hunt. I don't want to trade Allen and Burrow.
I'll give you Tyreek Hill and Leonard Fournette for Nick Chubb.
I might do that.
Ooh, that sounds
Send me
pretty
that offer.
tasty.
I might do that.
That doesn't help me wide receiver though. So I don't know.
I don't know why you're doing that. Let's move
Well, he's
on.
just gonna start Nick Chubb in his flex.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Jerry and Daryl. If you're looking at the projection, obviously there's like the projected total. I don't think is updated because I think it still has Alvin Kamara listed as projected for 0 as it does for CD Lamb. So take the projection with a grain of salt. If you were to insert their averages, it would give Daryl a 30-point boost to put him at 114. So the projection would be within 2.
I don't know if Kamara or Lamb are going to be. They both got a short week, and
do they?
Yeah.
And neither of them practice. Neither of them practice today.
Ooh.
They're both gonna be up in the air.
I mean, to be fair, even if Harris is out, if Kamara is out, he puts in Harris. If CD is out,
you got Sanders.
What I might do is bump Judy to wide receiver and maybe Noah Fant in the flex, or Dearness Johnson, depending on if Kareem Hunt plays.
There's CD is actually, they think he might clear concussion protocol in time. Kamara I don't actually know about, but there's an interesting scenario. If Kamara doesn't play, Jerry gets Mark Ingram.
Oh, yeah.
If he wants him. I mean, he's going against Buffalo. I don't know if he would play Ingram anyways.
If he does, it's going to be over Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I think Sanders against the Giants is a better play.
I don't know though. Sanders has been inconsistent. He finally came back a little bit last week, but then I think he had one fumble and would have had another, but for something about forward progress, I think, or something like that.
I mean, the Eagles are now a running team, and he did get 16 carries, and he's better than Jordan Howard. Like they'll let him play.
I'm not okay. So if anyone takes carries from him, it's going to be Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. But like I said, it was the ball security issue that I think got him benched on Sunday, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, they didn't bench him for the rest of the game, but he sat for a while.
Yeah, I am gonna go ahead and predict Jerry here, and it's largely because of the question marks with Daryl's team. If Daryl's at full strength, it's a coin flip. But I'm gonna go Jerry because of the questions. I just think, and he's got some decent matchups. Miami isn't too great against the run, and it's Christian McCaffrey's going to get to run against them. Denver, I don't think is great against the run. Austin Eckler, or I don't think Denver has a really good defense generally. I could be wrong, but I don't remember them as having a particularly dominant defense.
I think I'm going to go Jerry on this one.
Yeah, me too.
Injuries are a big factor.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jerry as well.
All right. So that leaves 2 matchups remaining, and the easier one of the 2 to predict is the one we're going to do next, which is Zach versus Brad. So this is actually, and this is the best part of the season for Brad, because even if he's out, he can still play spoiler if he gets his act together. But he is dealing with some substantial injury issues of his own.
Lamar will be back in, so add another 10 points to the projection. Add another 25
25 points, yeah.
Yeah.
The projection would be...
It still puts him down 18.
Yeah.
And he's got not a lot to add in.
So yeah, he does. Oh, no, he doesn't. CEH is on bye.
Yeah, so the line is going to be minus 18 if...
Maybe Ramondre Stevenson, but even then, it's less than 10 probably.
Oh yeah, Michael Carter is at 0 right now, so throw in another.
He's not gonna. Yeah, he's not playing.
I didn't see that. So I mean, the line is really. I mean, he can get someone projected 10 points off waivers. So the line's like minus 8, but it's obviously Zach.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's Zach.
I don't know why I put that much effort into it. It's Zach.
Yeah, I would agree. It's Zach, and it's just Sorry, Brad. Last matchup of the week. McMillan desperately needs a rebound against James. I'm curious now who the coldest team in the league is. Probably Brad. I'd have to imagine, right? Yeah,
I'm currently on a 3-game skid right now.
Don't worry, Brad's got you covered. He's on a 4-game skid. But speaking of skids, McMillan's lost his last 2. And now he's got to play James, who, again, since started like me, he and I both started 0-4.
He's won 5 of the 6 of his last games.
He's won 6 of his last 7.
6 of his last 7. Do
And
you know what the loss was?
No, who was it?
This guy.
Hey, I've won 6 of my last 7. Do you know who the loss was? James. It's that fucking Danny Dimes game. So the line is currently 10 in favor of James. It does operate on the assumption that Amari's still out, which I think is correct, right?
But he's got Adrian Peterson in, who's no longer rostered by an NFL team.
This is true.
Yeah, like what I was saying earlier, Jay is going to struggle this week unless he's I don't know what he's going to do. Like he's going to have to pick somebody
Kenyon
up.
Drake. No, he's not. He's going to start Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a great play, but he's going to start Kenyon Drake.
No,
so add 7 to the line, and it's going to be a 3-point line right now.
I'd be dropping Derrick Henry, putting Chase Edmonds in my bot and my IR, and trying to find somebody else.
I mean, I would have dropped Derrick Henry weeks ago.
There's rumors he might come back.
There's a 0.01% chance he plays in week 17.
He's not going to come back in time to help us. He might come back in time if the Titans make the playoffs. But
yeah,
I dropped him. Well, I only had him in one league, and I dropped him in the league I had him in. So he can also drop Adrian Peterson now if he doesn't want
Yeah, he doesn't. But he's got room to make some ads.
There you go, McMillan. There's some free advice for you. You need to do something because you're going to lose this week.
I think James's roster is probably pretty accurate, aside from maybe.
I think you should trade Tyler Boyd to Jerry.
Didn't Tyler Boyd get hurt last week too?
Yeah, I think he got a stinger, but I think but the reason Jason's saying that is because Jerry and I had a big argument over Tyler Boyd versus T. Higgins, who are all you need to know is that T. Higgins is scoring 2 more points per game than Tyler Boyd, and their rankings are Boyd is 43 in wide receivers, Higgins is 44. Again, they're ranked that way because Higgins missed 2 games with an injury and Boyd's played every game. So
yeah,
Higgins is a slightly better receiver, but Boyd is ranked higher, and durability matters.
Here, Higgins is a much more talented wide receiver than Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
And it pains me to say that Tyler Boyd, repping from Pitt, love him, but he is more of a possession style, short area receiver. T. Higgins can fucking ball out.
Do you really love Pitt? Do you really love Pitt players?
Do I?
Yeah.
I mean, like from the college?
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. I root for them. I'm not like.
So do you have a Nathan Peterman jersey?
No. I am looking forward to see what Kenny Pickett does next year, though.
You're not a true Pitt fan if you don't have a Nathan Peterman jersey.
Who's that?
All right.
You don't know Nathan Peterman?
Nope. Does he play for the Raiders still? I don't even know.
No idea. I'm gonna look him up.
I don't even know if he's still in the league.
Nathan Peterman is the greatest quarterback in NFL history.
That does sound familiar now.
He is a Raiders quarterback.
That's what I thought.
The Peter meme. So yeah, the question really, I guess the last question we have to answer is, who do you got in McMillan's matchup with James? Alex, I think you're it sounds like you're leaning James.
I am leaning James. Unless McMillan can, no, I'm just going to go James no matter what.
It's James for me.
I'm going to say McMillan. And I'm doing this again out of spite for James's fucking garbage dumpster fire team. Like,
yeah, I don't like James's team either, but McMillan, it, just this week is just terrible for him. Like he's gonna be fine after this week.
Tom Brady will bail him out by putting up 40. Darrell Henderson will put up 20. Adam Thielen will put up like a little less than 20. Cam Newton will have himself a game to fuck you, Alex, and he'll put up like over 20. And I just think McMillan wins. And I think James lays an egg. Because fuck James. But thank you for inviting us to New York. We had a great time.
Get a big bounce back game for the Bills D.
James just needs to lose. That's all that needs to happen. But this matchup, before we wrap up, is the one matchup of the week where someone is guaranteed to get to 7 wins. Because every other matchup, in theory, could end with a team going to 6-6. I could fall to 6-6 against Window, who could be the only 8-win team in the league. If Jason Smith beats Alex, if that's the way that matchup goes, you both would be 6-6.
That'd be good.
Jerry beating Daryl would put them both at 6-6. Zach beating Brad would put Zach at 6-6, and Brad would would be 3-9. And
what if we have just everybody but 2 people at 6-6 next week?
That's the crazy part. No, it'd be everybody but 3 people. There would be one.
Okay.
There would be Window would be at the worst 7-5. Whoever wins the McMillan Waller matchup will go to 7-5, and the loser will be 6-6. And then Brad's going to be either 4-8 or 3-9. But there could be a 7-way tie at 6-6 next week, depending on how these matchups go. Like
congratulations, we're all equally mediocre.
That's it. Can you imagine how crazy that would be? A 7-way tie for it would be what 3rd through 9th place would all be 6-6.
That's crazy.
The crazy part is I have to lose for this to happen. There's a part of me that's rooting for that. Like, if I have to lose, I want us all to be 6-6 with 2 games in hand. Because can you imagine?
It's like the NFL this year. It's like, is anybody actually good in the NFL? It's like
it's just
the Bills are losing to the Jaguars.
You think someone's good, and then
the Dolphins beat the Ravens.
Yeah,
as soon as you think they're good, they just shit the bed.
The Jets beat the Bengals when everyone thinks they're good. Yeah.
Tampa Bay goes down to Washington. Come on.
This has been a super up and down season. It really has.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And the Titans are still somehow winning games without Derrick Henry. I mean, until last week, but jeez, Pete's.
Makes 0 sense. Well, that's it for the fantasy pod. We had absolutely no one comment in the chat. We had absolutely no one ask us a question. So sorry to.
Well, it's usually me that's commenting in the chat anyway. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So sorry if we couldn't give you any, on the spot fantasy advice. If you're watching this pod later on and you have a question for us, our league page is public. Our YouTube page is obviously public. Our Facebook group, I believe, is even it's not open to the public, but hit us up.
It's discoverable.
Yeah, it's discoverable. Hit us up, ask us questions. We're here to answer them. But this has been awesome. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Alex, for both being on the pod. This is a wild season, and I cannot wait to see how it wraps up. 3 games to go, boys. Best of luck.
Yeah, I'm scared.
What's kind of crazy, I feel like my team is the best that it's been all year right now, and I haven't been this nervous about my team until just now. It's crazy.
You always had an excuse because of injuries or just someone, and now you're finally locked and loaded.
No, what I'm saying is earlier this season, I'm on top of the standings and top 3 in scoring, and now it's I'm middle of the pack and maybe top 4 in scoring. I can't remember, but it's right now my team looks good, but everybody's so freaking close. I could easily miss the playoffs.
Just before we wrap up, to give everybody a rundown on the scoring, McMillan obviously leads and is unlikely to be caught. The only person who realistically has I guess he could be caught, but it would take a pretty substantial effort from one of the upper teams to do so. Zach is his closest competition, about 75 or so points, a little under 75 points behind him. Alex trails Zach by 15 points and is in the 3rd spot. Jason Smith trails Alex by a little less than 20. And then I trail Jason Smith by 25. And that's your top 5. Is McMillan, Zach, Alex, Jason Smith, and myself. After that, James is about 70 points under me, and so that's a pretty big gap there. Window's within 10 points of James. Below that is actually Brad, who is 30 points under Window. And Daryl and Jerry still trail Brad by total points by, I think Daryl's by like about 20 and Jerry's by about 40.
And what do those two teams have in common?
They're both
They didn't draft a quarterback till late.
That's true. And they've both been hit by injuries pretty hard. But we've all had injuries deal with to different extents. But they are also both, like, again, in this logjam of, I think Jerry's 5-6, Daryl's 6-5. It's just crazy. And Window, it just must be nice to be Window, being 7th in scoring and being 1st in the standings. It just must be nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure
you gotta give him some credit.
Week.
He manufactured wins, and that he put the work in
So,
to do that.
I'm not giving credit for
No,
that.
that's bullshit.
Do you get, like, I don't
No,
give...
he manufactured those wins. Like,
No,
he spent all this
score
fab to get those
75.
wins.
Like, that's just
Manufacturing
fucking luck.
things, like, you say someone manufactured something.
You can't be the 9th highest scorer in the league that week and say you manufactured a win because you got lucky and played the lowest score.
Well, no.
week.
But here's the thing
Luck.
about I get where Alex is coming from here, right? You say someone manufactured something. The context where you most hear that in the sports world is when someone hits a sack fly, right? It's the play way of telling them, hey, you got out, but thank goodness there's a runner on third, so you manufactured something. You manufactured that run. You didn't waste the runner on third, right? You still got out. Like, you still didn't do your job and get a hit.
Right.
So,
No, I mean,
it's the polite Alex being nice.
I'm not saying Window is going to make a good playoff run. I'm saying Window did a good job to get to where he is right now, and now he's kind of fucked.
If ESPN like playoff percent projection matters at all,
I'm gonna hard disagree with Alex. He got lucky to get where he is, and his luck is gonna run out.
if ESPN's
I tried to do what Window did this year, last year, and I wasn't able to get it done. Like, that's why I'm like, I appreciate the hustle that he's putting in.
respect, if the ESPN playoff projections are like the playoff percent projections matter at all, and they probably don't, because when I was 0-4, I was an 18% favorite to make the playoffs, and now I'm 69. I'm 69%. Yes,
Nice.
I'm gonna stay right here. But if that matters, Alex leads the league, 92% chance to make the playoffs, followed by Window, 88%, followed by McMillan at 82%, followed by Zach at 70%, myself 69%, James 65%, Daryl 56%, Jason Smith 54%, Jerry 24%, and Brad has been officially eliminated at 0%. So that's where we stand. And
All right.
one seriously stinky pinky swear last thing. I just got to know on the transaction counter if McMillan has added it, or if he has spent any of his budget.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't have to look at him. He hasn't.
$1,000 just sitting there. You don't get to keep $1,000, McMillan.
I don't know. He could go pick up Tevin Coleman right now.
Blow it
We
all.
should include fab trading, and then McMillan could use that as an asset. He could trade it to Window for something.
Think about this. Like, if McMillan spends his whole budget, it will be the biggest amount of money spent on any player in fab history. He should just do it.
Yeah, just go pick up.
Don't even think about it. Just do it. We respect the flag. And you shit all over it by not blowing your budget on some bum. When was your last budget pop? September 08. All right, enough other guys' references. Thank you again, Jason and Alex, for being here. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in week 12. Most importantly, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. It was great hanging with James in New York and with Jason, Jerry, and Window. Thank you guys for coming with. And, you know, we got some bagels. We got to go to a barcade. And what else did we do? Got some barbecue. Got to go to the weirdest underground comedy club I've ever been to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We had some good times. So we'll try to do. I'd love to get another league event on the books towards the end of the year, like whether it's a week 16 like Sacco Bowl celebration or a true championship league event, just to like watch the games together on one of those 2 weeks, and get everybody together, you know, as a league. So be looking at the week 16 and 17 calendar. Just keep it on your radar if you can. But yeah, anything you guys got to say before we wrap it up?
Somebody trade me a wide receiver.
You've had enough trades. Your trades are done.
No, I get one more.
We got a week and a half till the deadline.
You can have
So-
Kyler Murray.
For what?
A top tier wide receiver. I don't understand the question.
Have you
But Sean has none of
seen
those,
my
so-
roster?
I'm clearly not talking to you.
Yeah, no shit. All right, boys. Well, peace out. Have a great week. See you next
Peace.
week.
Love you guys.